I recently peeped the prices for the Air Jordan 1 Chicago's from 2015 and damn, I didn't think they were gonna be that much. But it's crazier, even the 1.5s are ridiculous in price. Luckily I bought mine used and I had a spare donor laying around. If you guys wanna do this project yourself, I went true to size for the midsole donor. So the Jordan 1.5 is a size 10 and the donor that I use is a size 10 as well. Alright, that's enough chit chat. If you guys enjoyed the video, later. So I got these Jordan 1.5 slightly used. For the condition that they're in, I actually got them for a good price. The guy actually paid me to get the shoes off of him. Alright, so there are a few things that I want to do to make these look as close to a Jordan 1 Chicago. Obviously, first things first, I'm the realest. Nah. We have to switch out the Jordan 2 sole with a Jordan 1 rubber sole. I'm going to switch out the Wings logo to make it say Air Jordan instead of the Nike. And I'm going to resize it a little bit to make it smaller. I want to put a little bit of 85 vibes into this, so I'm going to make the wings smaller. And last but certainly least, I'm going to switch out the tongue tag from the black and red that it has on already to a red and white. So I'm going to go ahead and boil some water. While I'm waiting for the water to boil, I'm going to apply a little bit of acetone on the areas that the midsole makes contact with the leather. I didn't even put in the hot water yet, and the glue is already being eaten up by the acetone. To make it easier to peel, I'm going to pour a little bit of hot water inside of the shoes. Around 2005, 2006, when you could tell a Jordan was a fake, every time I would separate a pair, this is what they would look like on the inside, just full of holes inside. To help me reduce the creasing, I'm going to put in a Jordan 1 last inside of the shoes. It's also going to help me shape the shoes to look more like an Air Jordan 1, because the shape right now looks more like an Air Jordan 2. Look, you just blinked and I already cleaned the shoes. I'm playing, my camera died when I was recording. Alright, don't be fooled, the tongue is still dirty. It looks whiter because I have the garage open. But I'm gonna clean the tongue with OxiClean. I only did a few sessions to deep clean the tongue, but no matter how many sessions or how much I clean the tongue, it's not gonna get any whiter because that's how they came out from the factory. Alright, so that red and black tongue has to go. We're going to switch it out with a white and red one. And I'm using a seam ripper to remove the tongue tag. I'm using these tongue tags that I got from Iggy's Kicks. So the length of the Wings logo is 2 3/8 of an inch, which is also 2.375 inches. I am going to resize it to 2 inches because I'm trying to make it look like a pair from 85. Now, just in case if I want to keep the original size, I'm just going to change the lettering up top. So instead of it saying Nike, it's going to say Air Jordan. So I have the original size up top and I have the modified size on the bottom. Now, just to remove the wings in a ball, I'm just going to hide the contour. And now I'm ready to print it out. Just in case if I mess up, I want to make sure that I have a paint match ready to touch up any areas of the leather. I already have this paint that I pre-mixed a while ago, so I'm going to need to mess around with it a little bit just to make sure that it matches with the shoe that I'm working on. So the paint that I have is a little bit too deep and slightly too red, so I'm gonna need to dull it down by adding white and yellow. The base of the leather on the 1.5s has an orange hue to it, so I'm gonna need to match it to that type of color. And I'm just testing it out on the leather to see if it's a match. Alright, so here's my color match after it's all dried. I want to know what you think in the comments. I'm not talking about the one next to the Nike logo. I'm talking about the one on the wing on the far left. The wing should be sharp just like the other side. So I ended up choosing to make the wings logo smaller, so I'm just going to take out the excess vinyl and transfer it onto a transfer paper, then lay it on top of the wings logo. Before I put down the stencil, I want to make sure that the surface is clean. So I hit it really quick with acetone and cotton balls. So with the line that shoots through the wing, I'm trying to line it up where it's parallel to the top stitching. I'm gonna hit it with the blow dryer so that the stencil can have a nice gorilla grip on the leather. This is just to make sure that paint doesn't leak through underneath the stencil while we're airbrushing. It's hella tempting to blast this all with black paint right away, but that's not the way to go. You gotta go easy on it. You make sure you gotta go light at first. You just wanna lay down the foundation. You know what I'm saying? Just take it slow. Then after the second or third coat, you can go slightly heavier. So you can see that the new wings logo is off-centered from the original logo. That's because the wings are angled up more on the newer retros. But on the 85s, it's lined up perfectly on the stitching. Don't worry, we're gonna fix that imprint later in the video. So the next step is to lay down the tongue tag so it doesn't move around while we stitch. Anytime I glue some, I lay down a thin layer of glue at first, let it cure for a few minutes, heat it up with the blow dryer, and then bond them together. We're gonna hop on a post bed machine to stitch back the tongue tag. Now that we worked out the small details, the final step is to re-glue the Jordan 1 sole on the 1.5 upper. To help strengthen our sole swap, we want to make sure that we remove majority of the factory glue that's on the Jordan 1 sole. Putting in the last gives this shoe proper form, and it gives me a good idea of what it'll look like on the sole. Whenever you glue, it's always best to have the surfaces to be rough and never smooth. If it is smooth, you want to roughen it up with a Dremel tool. This makes the glue grab onto the leather much better. This is going to make sure your re-glues are going to have a strong bond. Now right before we're going to apply our adhesive, we're going to clean it up a little bit with cotton balls and acetone just to make sure we have a clean surface. How I'm going to tackle this sole swap is I'm going to work on the heel first, make sure that's lined up, and then I'm going to work my way on the toe second. I want to make sure that the toe box is perfectly round and lined up. Then I'm going to work on the sides last. Anytime I'm ready to glue, I apply a thin coat on both sides. I let it cure for about an hour, and then I reheat it up with a blow dryer or a heat gun on its lowest heat settings, because the last thing I want is to burn the leather. If you have a temperature gun, the target heat that you should be looking for is around 120 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. If it's Celsius, your shoes are fucked. Alright, to tackle the imprint on the leather, we're going to use a wood burner. Just like how you remove wrinkles off of your clothes using an iron, it's almost the same concept on the leather. Alright, now the last step is to re-stitch the whole sole back on the upper using a sewing awl. Alright y'all, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like this video. It helps me with the algorithm. And be sure to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at JohnAndrew00. Alright y'all, I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.